There is one food, sitting in grocery stores across this country for less than $2 a pound, that a growing body of research now shows may do more for the strength and reliability of erections in men over 60 than almost anything else on your plate. It is not steak. It is not eggs. It is not any supplement you have ever seen advertised. And the reason most senior men have never heard this connection explained clearly is that almost no one in the health content space is talking about the actual biology behind it. I will tell you exactly what the food is and the precise way to use it in just a moment. But first, here is what you need to understand about erections after 60 that almost nobody explains. An erection is not primarily a testosterone event. It is a vascular event. It depends entirely on the health of the blood vessel lining, called the endothelium, that controls blood flow to the penis. When that lining is damaged, blood flow is restricted. And the dietary pattern most common among senior men in the United States, high in processed meat, saturated fat, and refined carbohydrates, and low in plant-based protein, is one of the most reliably documented drivers of that damage. The National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases has stated directly that erectile dysfunction in men over 60 is, in a large percentage of cases, an early warning signal of the same cardiovascular disease damaging blood vessels throughout the entire body. Which means, if your erections are weakening, your blood vessels may be sending you a signal your heart has not shown you yet. The food I am about to show you addresses that signal at its root. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what that food is, how much to eat, when to eat it, and the one protein mistake most older men are making that may actually be worsening their erections, even men who think they are eating healthy. Here is what I need you to stay for. It turns out you can eat too much protein, and by doing so, you may actually be lowering your testosterone and working against the very reason you started. There is a specific range where protein works for you. Outside that range, things begin to go wrong in both directions. Most of the popular men's health content is sitting on the wrong side of that line. I will show you exactly where that line is. But first, let me explain the science in simple language. Understanding why this works is what makes everything in this video actually stick. When you get older, your body begins losing muscle mass at a measurable rate. In medical terms, this process is called sarcopenia. It accelerates through your 60s and 70s. What most channels skip is this. Sarcopenia is not just a strength problem. As lean muscle tissue declines, your body's ability to maintain healthy testosterone levels and regulate insulin sensitivity declines with it. Lower muscle mass creates a more hostile hormonal environment for everything downstream, including erections. Protein is the primary dietary factor that either slows or accelerates that cascade. A systematic review and meta-analysis published in Nutrition Research reviews examined the effect of dietary protein intake on male reproductive function. The finding was remarkably clear. Chronically low protein intake, below roughly 10% of daily calories, was associated with significantly reduced testosterone and impaired hormonal signaling in the male reproductive system. But here is the finding the same research points toward, and one that almost no one, including many doctors, explains to men over 60. Excessively high protein intake, above roughly 35% of daily calories, can raise cortisol and suppress testosterone. A study published in Metabolism, Clinical and Experimental found that very high protein, very low carbohydrate diets did not increase testosterone in older men. In some cases, they actually worsened the hormonal environment. Too little protein starves your hormonal system. Too much protein stresses it. The food I am about to show you sits naturally in the sweet spot between those two extremes. And it comes with a cardiovascular profile that actively supports the blood vessels most responsible for healthy erectile function after 60. Now that you understand the mechanism, endothelial damage combined with the protein, muscle, hormone cascade, every item on this list will make immediate sense. Let's go through them. Item 1, legumes. the overlooked protein that protects your blood vessels. Beans, lentils, chickpeas. I know what some of you are thinking, and I want to address it directly. The idea that legumes are a weak protein, just a side dish, or food that cannot seriously support male health, is one of the most widespread nutritional myths in the world. But the truth is, legumes are uniquely positioned for men over 60. They deliver high-quality protein, alongside soluble fiber, and a micronutrient profile that actively supports endothelial function, the same inner lining of your blood vessels that your erections depend on. That combination does not exist in red meat. It does not exist in protein powder. It is unique to legumes. A cross-sectional study indexed on ScienceDirect found that legume-rich dietary patterns were associated with significantly better vascular and reproductive health markers in men, compared with Western-style, meat-heavy diets. The action step is simple. Eat 1 full cup of cooked legumes, beans, lentils, or chickpeas at least 5 days each week. That gives you approximately 15 to 18 grams of protein per serving, together with the fiber and phytonutrients that help protect your blood vessel lining. If you do just one thing from this video, make it this. Type yes in the comments if you are over 60, and no one has ever told you legumes may support erectile health. I genuinely want to see how many people are hearing this for the first time. Item 1 gives you the foundation. Item 2 looks at the protein source most men over 60 rely on today, and explains why it may actually be working against them. Item 2, replace processed meat with fatty fish. The most common protein source among senior men in the United States is still red and processed meat. Deli meats, sausages, bacon, and high-fat cuts of beef eaten several times every week. After the age of 60, your endothelial cells become much more sensitive to the inflammatory effects of saturated fat and the compounds found in processed meat. One important process is called lipid peroxidation. This happens when unstable molecules generated from heated saturated fats begin damaging the inner walls of your blood vessels. Those are the very same blood vessels your erections depend on. Fatty fish, such as salmon, sardines, and mackerel, replace that inflammatory protein source with one that actively supports healthier blood vessels. Their omega-3 fatty acids improve lipid profiles, reduce chronic inflammation, and directly support the vascular function required for healthy erections. The National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases is very clear on this. Replacing processed and high-fat red meat with lean protein, especially fatty fish, is one of the most evidence-supported dietary changes a man over 60 can make for erectile health. Here's your action step. Replace red meat with fatty fish 2 to 3 times each week. A 4 to 6 ounce serving of salmon or sardines provides roughly 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein, together with omega-3 fats that support vascular repair. Before I show you item 3, the one I mentioned at the beginning, I need to make sure the foundation is clear, because what you're about to hear surprised many researchers, and it directly contradicts what much of today's men's health content recommends for testosterone after 60. Item 3, the protein sweet spot, why more is not always better. Here is the finding most men never hear. Popular men's health content has spent years promoting extremely high-protein diets, often making protein account for 35% or more of daily calories, usually combined with very low carbohydrate intake, as the best strategy for protecting testosterone and preserving muscle after 60. But the research tells a different story. The study published in Metabolism, Clinical and Experimental, found that very high protein intake did not increase testosterone or IGF-1 in older men. Instead, higher protein intake was associated with elevated cortisol, suppression of testosterone, and a hormonal environment that may actually work against healthy erectile function. More is not always better. Based on the current weight of scientific evidence, the sweet spot for most senior men is around 1 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight each day. Spread that protein across at least 2 meals. Build those meals around heart-healthy sources, like legumes and fatty fish. Pair them with whole food carbohydrates, instead of eliminating carbohydrates altogether. Not more, not less. Right in the middle. That is where the biology appears to work best for your body after 60. Item 5. The soy myth. Why this plant protein does not harm male hormones. This section exists because one nutrition myth refuses to disappear. You've probably heard it before. Soy lowers testosterone. Soy makes men less masculine. Soy damages male hormones. The scientific evidence simply does not support those claims. Multiple peer-reviewed studies, including large reviews published on ScienceDirect, have found that normal dietary intake of soy foods does not lower testosterone. It does not reduce semen quality, and it does not harm male reproductive hormones in healthy men. This is not a controversial finding. It is the current scientific consensus. The myth began with animal studies that used doses of soy compounds far beyond anything a person could realistically consume through food. Over time, those results were exaggerated, repeated, and amplified by marketing. For men over 60, foods like tofu, edamame, and tempeh provide high-quality plant protein with an excellent cardiovascular profile. They fit naturally alongside legumes and fatty fish, without any evidence that they interfere with the hormonal environment needed for healthy erections. Here's your action step. If fear of soy has kept you from eating tofu or edamame, you can let go of that concern. A 3 to 4 ounce serving of firm tofu provides roughly 8 to 10 grams of protein, while offering a cardiovascular profile that is considerably healthier than the processed red meat it often replaces. In many parts of Asia, these foods have been staples for generations. Item 6. Avoid the TN toast trap. What chronic low protein does quietly. This next point is for a very specific group of men watching today. If it describes you, it may be the most important message in this entire video. There is an eating pattern that quietly develops in many older adults who live alone. Breakfast becomes toast. Lunch becomes crackers. Dinner becomes another light snack. Maybe just a cup of tea. Cooking feels like too much effort. Appetite gradually fades. Without realizing it, protein slowly disappears from the diet. Clinically, this is known as protein-energy malnutrition. The surprising part is that many people experiencing it do not look severely underweight. The systematic review published in Nutrition Research Reviews found that chronically low protein intake, below roughly 10% of daily calories, was associated with measurable reductions in testosterone production and male reproductive function. The biology is straightforward. When your body doesn't receive enough protein, normal hormonal signaling begins to suffer. If your meals have quietly drifted toward convenient, low-protein foods, your erections may simply be reflecting a nutritional problem you never realized existed. Here's your action step. Track your protein intake for the next 3 days using any free nutrition app. If you consistently fall below about 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight, start rebuilding your meals around the foods we've discussed today. The answer is not another supplement. The answer is real food, eaten consistently. Item 7. Treat erectile dysfunction as a vascular warning, not just a bedroom problem. This is the most important point in today's video. And unfortunately, it is also the one many men avoid the longest. Erectile dysfunction after 60 is not simply an inconvenience. In many cases, it is the earliest measurable sign that blood vessels throughout the body are becoming unhealthy. The same vascular disease that contributes to heart attacks and strokes can also reduce blood flow where erections depend on it most. The National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases recommends that erectile dysfunction in older men should trigger a complete cardiovascular evaluation. That includes checking blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, and overall cardiovascular risk. Notice something important. The same dietary pattern that supports erectile function also supports heart health. Adequate protein from legumes, fatty fish, whole food carbohydrates, minimal processed meat, and gradual weight management. This approach is not a replacement for medical care. It is the nutritional foundation that helps medical treatment work better. Please don't struggle with erectile problems in silence, while ignoring what your blood vessels may be trying to tell you. Having an honest conversation with your doctor may be the single most important action you take after watching this video. So, what do you actually do with all of this? Here is a simple 3-part daily protocol. And the best part, the most important step, takes less than 2 minutes to put into practice today. The 3-part daily protocol. Part 1, build a protein-powered breakfast. Start every morning with 25 to 30 grams of protein. That might be 1 cup of cooked lentils with 2 eggs, a can of sardines on whole grain toast, or Greek yogurt paired with half a cup of chickpeas. Choose the breakfast you know you'll actually eat. Consistency always beats perfection. Part 2, make 1 weekly swap. Replace red or processed meat with fatty fish, such as salmon, sardines, or mackerel, 2 to 3 times each week. On the remaining days, make legumes your primary protein source for at least 1 meal. That single habit moves your diet away from the pattern most strongly linked with blood vessel damage, and toward the pattern most consistently associated with healthier circulation. Part 3, check your protein intake. For the next 3 days, track how much protein you're actually eating. Aim for 1 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight each day. If you weigh 80 kilograms, your daily target is approximately 80 to 96 grams of protein. Spread it across at least 2 meals. Don't try to eat it all at once. If this sounds complicated, it really isn't. 1 serving of legumes, 1 serving of fatty fish, and another quality protein source during the day. That's the protocol. Many men notice better energy within 10 to 14 days. Changes in blood vessel function, which directly influence erections, usually take longer. Most studies suggest that meaningful improvements in endothelial health occur over roughly 6 to 12 weeks. If you have kidney disease, diabetes, or another condition requiring a specialized diet, these general protein targets should be personalized by your doctor or a registered dietitian. Remember the protein sweet spot we discussed at the beginning. The range where protein supports hormones, muscle, and healthy erections, without creating unnecessary metabolic stress. For most men over 60, that range is approximately 1 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight each day. Choose heart-healthy protein sources. Spread them throughout the day. Pair them with whole food carbohydrates. You don't need extreme high-protein diets. You need consistency. As the Buddha described it, the middle path, moderation often produces the best long-term results. And the overlooked food I promised at the beginning was legumes, beans, lentils, and chickpeas. These foods are inexpensive, rich in protein, excellent for cardiovascular health, and consistently associated with healthier blood vessels. Since healthy erections depend on healthy blood vessels, that connection becomes much easier to understand. 5 questions to ask your doctor. If you're over 60 and experiencing erectile dysfunction, bring these questions to your next appointment. They're not meant to challenge your doctor. They're designed to help you have a more productive conversation. Question 1. Could my erection problems be related to my heart or blood vessels? Because erectile dysfunction is often one of the earliest signs of vascular disease. Question 2. How much protein should I eat each day based on my age, kidney function, and overall health? The right amount is personal. General recommendations are useful, but individualized guidance is better. Question 3. Are my current protein sources helping or hurting my blood vessels? It's not just how much protein you eat. The source matters. Question 4. Would gradual weight loss improve my testosterone and sexual function? Many men are surprised to learn that modest weight loss alone can significantly improve both. Question 5. Could any of my medications be contributing to my erectile problems? Several commonly prescribed medications can affect sexual function. If one is involved, your doctor may have safer alternatives. 5 things to remember from today's video. First, an erection is primarily a vascular event. Take care of your blood vessels, and you support healthier erections. Second, aim for about 1 cup of legumes most days of the week. It's one of the strongest evidence-based dietary habits discussed today. Third, replace processed meat with fatty fish 2 or 3 times every week. Your blood vessels will thank you. Fourth, don't assume more protein is always better. The sweet spot matters more than extremes. Finally, if your erections have been getting weaker, don't ignore them. Talk to your doctor. It may be your cardiovascular system asking for attention. I'd like to hear from you. What is your main source of protein right now? Is it meat, fish, eggs, beans, or something else? And if you're comfortable sharing, are you over the age of 60? Leave your answer in the comments. I read every one of them, and they help shape future videos. Before you go, in the next video, I'll discuss one of the most commonly prescribed blood pressure medications and the documented connection it may have with erectile dysfunction. Many men take it every day, without realizing it could be affecting their sexual health. If that sounds relevant to you, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. This channel exists to go one step deeper than what most doctors have time to explain during a 15-minute appointment. No miracle cures, no supplements to sell, just evidence-based science, translated into plain English, with practical steps you can start using today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.